Lords of Thunder and Gate of Thunder are not just two of the most exciting 16-bit shoot-'em-ups of all time, but they also sport a couple of the best video game soundtracks you'll ever hear. Today I've decided to succumb to the rock and celebrate some of the things I love about these two amazing shooters. Turn back now if you don't want to know what happens next, because today we're going to spoil the stories and endings for Gate of Thunder and Lords of Thunder on the TurboGrafx-CD. This is Game Over, the early years. Lords of Thunder is one of those old-school shoot-'em-ups that try to make itself sound deep by hinting at a convoluted backstory filled with warring gods and demons. In reality, the story is pretty simple. Once upon a time, back when the world was first being formed, the holy god Farina imprisoned an evil man named Zagert, who his followers know as the Dark One. As you'd imagine, peace reigned over the land for years, until one day the demons of the Shadow Realm tricked the 6 bosses into letting them enter the world. Now they're attempting to resurrect Zagard and turn the once peaceful land into the Dark World. You play Lord Landis, the last remaining descendant of the ancient heroes and the only man who can save the lands of Mistral. It's up to Landis to battle the hordes of evil enemies and stop Zagard before he shapes the world in his dark image. Also, this is a 2D shoot-'em-up, so the story isn't going to play a major role as you shoot down those pesky demons from the Shadow Realm. The idea is to choose between a half-dozen stages and defeat the boss. Along the way, you'll have to fight through a cave, under the water, in the forest, through a castle, and on top of snow-covered mountains. He'll eventually get to his final destination, the Dark Tower. This is a punishing stage filled with spikes and other devilish obstacles. It's also where you'll get a message from Farina, the blue-haired hero that trapped Zagert in the first place. She warns our hero that the next fight is gonna be tough, and she's not kidding around. Zagert turns out to be a giant demon head that shoots lasers and stabs our hero with massive spikes. But don't worry, Landis is destined to win. Here's what happens next. Lords of Thunder is a perfect example of how you can make a great ending without saying a single word. You see a stoic Landis look at the clouds separate and the sun shine again, because peace has taken over the land or something. Also, he gets the girl, which I guess was supposed to be the girl that runs the item shop. I don't know, she isn't really introduced properly. On second thought, maybe this ending could have used a few more words. Let's move on. Now, contrary to what you might think, Gate of Thunder is not directly related to Lords of Thunder. It may share 2/3 of the title, the same kind of rockin' soundtrack, and fast-paced shoot-'em-up action, but that's where the similarities end. Red Entertainment created a unique story that doesn't connect in any way to Lords of Thunder, but instead tells the tale of a special undercover agent named Hawk and his mission to stop the deadly army of Obalon fighters from destroying the world. Gate of Thunder actually has a pretty spectacular intro cinema that not only introduces us to the supporting cast, but also gives us a taste of the world Hawk has infiltrated. This gets us pumped for an action-packed fight through a bunch of outer space levels, including an asteroid field, the enemy base, an underground mine, the Dark City, and more. The stages aren't as imaginative as Lords of Thunder, but it's hard to resist the tight combat and gorgeous pixel graphics. Anyway, Hawk and his sidekick Esty eventually make their way to the Crown's core, which is where the maniacal General Don Gingy has lured us into his trap. He's piloting this massive ship that shoots missiles and stars. We eventually defeat the evil general, and this is what happens next. This is a great example of a fantastic ending that is ruined by one stupid mistake. Can you guess what I'm talking about? It's this. Specifically this word right here. That's not how you spell again. How did nobody catch that? Spelling issue aside, I love this ending. Once again, it conveys so much through simple pictures. And it's not just the explosions and getaway that you expect from this kind of ending, but how it lets the characters have their moments and gives us a glimpse of their humanity. This is a strong ending to one of my favorite old school shoot 'em ups. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Game Over, The Early Years. If you liked this episode, then you may want to know that we post a new one every Monday. So here's my question for you. What's your favorite video game soundtrack? I could probably spend 24 hours talking about all the video game music I love, so I'm excited to see your thoughts. In other news, we're just 2 days away from the season finale of Electronic Gaming Monthly's Best and Worst. We're looking at the worst games of 1997 on Wednesday, which will be the final episode until later this summer when we continue with 1998. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.